Coach just talked about it. The fact that those guys, and I've played against them before during my time at Oklahoma State. The quarterback over the years, I've seen him mature, and he is truly what they say he is as far as being a very talented athlete. He's surrounded by an offensive line that returns, and they're really good players. The speed of the wide receivers is definitely going to be a challenge for us. They also have a really good group of running backs that we're going to have to defend. We'll have to do a great job of tackling. And you know, as I rewind into last week we hope gave us great confidence in our ability to be able to do all those things that we're going to have to do this week.
What was the key to the change from week 1 to week 2 and how you guys played?
The key from well, there's a lady that does voodoo right over here on 75. No, I think really, like Coach said, is that as a staff, we really had to make sure that we were inspecting the things that we wanted to have happen on Saturday in terms of making sure that the fundamentals of tackling, we talked about that, the fundamentals of tackling, the fundamentals of intercepting the ball, playing the ball in the air, that, you know, when you're in fall camp, you dig on that, and then once you start into the season, you go and you jump right into the scheme. But continuing to emphasize, because, you know, we have a really young group of players that we're tossing out on the field. So you have to continue to harp on, continue to push the fundamentals of everything that you do. And then I thought that we did a great job of getting lined up. We significantly lowered our mental errors, where it may not be as noticeable to the naked eye, to the layman, but we had a lot of mental errors in the Baylor game, and we significantly reduced that. Now, as a coach, you're never satisfied. It's never good enough, but for our players to understand that we're shooting for perfection, and you know, we might have had a pretty good game defensively, but we still had mental errors, and we still gave them some things. So we're still shooting for having that game as a defense where you don't give them things, where you eliminate, where you take away all the things that they do. And you know, as a coach, when we do that, then you'll probably be there'll be a player sitting up here. They don't need coaches when you're able to do that.
What did you see from the defensive line in the first 2 weeks of the season?
Our defensive line, I said it since the start of camp, is that they're one of our stronger units. Those guys, from a mentality standpoint, I think Coach Wyatt does a great job. They come to work every day, and there's some different personalities in there, but I've just been impressed with the way that they work every day, with the fact that even I'm talking off the field and on the field. You know, we don't have many issues with guys missing class, with guys being late to different things, and it really starts with the character and the integrity that our defensive line operates with. And I always say to them, hey man, you're the biggest guys, right? You should run the defense, you should run the team, and really they do.
What have you seen from guys like Kyron Mitchell, Anthony Roan, Jackson Mitchell? They're getting a lot of playing time. How much are they, starting to earn some more reps out there?
Well, as you know, you say those names, of course they're all linebackers, but Coach Mack has instilled an edge within that group. And guys like Kyron Mitchell, as young as he may be, continues to make plays. He made them in the spring, he made them in fall camp, and he continues to make them even into the fall. And guys like Anthony Roan that you mentioned, we're just excited about him because nobody works harder than Anthony Roan, and he's a guy who, as he continues to grow, will continue to take a leadership role on our team. And I mean, we're excited about all the guys in that group for sure.
Coach, you guys have faced speedy offense in Baylor, not tempo one. going into TCU. What do some of those teams? What do Baylor and TCU do differently offensively? That's going to be a challenge for you guys.
Well, I'll tell you what, they do some of the same things, and it's today's football. I was reading an article about how bad we have it as defensive coaches because it's like they're cheating on offense. They spread us out, and they throw the ball, and they force us to make tackles in space. Well, those are the things that they do, except they do it with some really fast people. So we're going to have to continue to recruit and convince some of these guys who in high schools today are playing wide receiver. We're going to have to convince some of those guys to play defensive back and play, well, nowadays the receivers look like defensive ends. That's what we're trying to trick Courtney and Sutton into coming over playing defense. Is Coach Craddock in here? Yeah, that's what his head now. So we just have to understand that those guys, offensive guys, Baylor's and TCU's of the world, that they are primed for getting guys in space to make tackles. It's where our defensive line comes into it, is that they don't account for a defensive lineman putting their foot in the ground and going and chasing the ball. Because those receivers, they don't like getting hit by defensive linemen. They like defensive backs to make contact with them. So if we can continue to push our D linemen to play with fantabulous effort, Andy, then we feel like it gives us an advantage over other defenses as we face these offenses.